Hey everybody, welcome back to Bobby Fitzgerald Golf. Today we're going to talk about having a routine, getting a routine set that makes you very comfortable. You know, whether you're playing in a club championship or a state amateur championship, like a lot of us do. Uh, when you're on that first tee, you can be a little nervous, and obviously you're a good player or you wouldn't have qualified to be in the state championship. Uh, and I've been fortunate to be in a few of them and play at the Spyglass in Monterey and play a lot of these tournaments. And, you know, when they call your name and, you know, say Robert Fitzgerald on the tee from blah, 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 which I was from over in Chico, California at the time. And you could get a little nervous, you know. But I found to settle all that, and we learned this, but we need to be reminded of it because it's a good idea anytime to develop this comfort zone and your routine. So as simple as things sound, sometimes it makes a huge difference in your game. You know, I mean, we hear so many repetitious things in golf. It's because it's important. It's because we're trying to get that ingrained in us and also ingrained in our pupils. And so what I want to talk about today is it's a short video because it's just a routine you're getting into to go hit those balls and hit them straight and to hit them down the middle and have another shot. The one thing I find on some of these tournaments is you might have a par 4 starting out with that's only like 380 yards, 400 yards. And yet you still see a lot of these guys on the first tee take out the driver and slice it out of bounds, or slice it behind trees, or knock it left into a pond or a stream. You know, you guys who have qualified to get into these state championships, you're pretty good with your irons. And so I think it's course management is so important. And so if you can go off that first tee, 3-wood, 5-wood, hybrid, whatever you think is going to leave you a good number to that green, whether it's an 8-iron or whether it's a pitching wedge. Yeah, pitching wedge, if you get farther down, yeah, it's going to have more spin. But a lot of times in these state championships, these greens are pretty fast, pretty high up there in the step meter. And so that might not be all that important, but it's good if you could know where you're going to land that pitching wedge and, you know, draw it back there 15 feet or whatever you need to do. But I'm just saying, for good course management, and you want to get ahead of the other people, if you see mistakes, you might be the last one going off, and here's 3 guys in trouble. It doesn't hurt to be the only one in the fairway. When you hit that ball in the fairway, there's always a sigh of relief. You may not show it outwardly, but it's there. We all know it's there. And so try to play good course management, depending on what kind of a hole you're starting off with. And again, part of your routine is going to be knowing that most people, not everybody, but most people, when they're hitting a shot, say they have 170 yards, and they go, I can hit my 7-iron 170 yards. A lot of times we come up short. Not thinking, oh, yeah, it's this far to the front of the green, but the green is 20 yards wide or long. So hitting an extra club doesn't hurt, or taking even, instead of hitting that 7-iron, maybe a 6-iron and you choke down an inch or so. So learn what works for you, what gives you that distance consistently, not what you do if you hit your very best shot. Because we don't always hit our very best shots, do we? No, they come up a little thin, a little heavy. You've hit them good, but they're just short, you know, or you hit the front of the green if you hit them, and hit short of the green and run right over the top of it, over the other side, if they get there at all. So good course management makes a lot of difference. So for the routine, we just want to do the things that we normally regularly do, you know. So we're going to start off with our grip. Going to come back here a little bit. We'll start off our grip and make sure that we have both of these V's formed by the thumb and the forefinger over to our left shoulder. You know this. You've gotten into a state championship. But we just want to ingrain this routine of just making sure, you know. That's what the whole idea of the routine is to make sure you've got this. And then things that we've all heard these things, but it's good to have that repetition. And I know with me, I heard a lot of things a lot of times. And then finally, it clicked in for me. You know, whether I thought I was too good to have to worry about that, whatever it is, you know. we all go through our stuff, you know. I remember when I was young, uh, if I couldn't shoot par in the front nine, I was disgusted. I'd throw my club on the ground. I'd throw them in the back of my truck. I wouldn't even play the back nine. How stupid is that, you know? But when you're young and you're getting better and you want to be better and you think you're better than you are, my gosh. But of course you should play that back nine. See if you can beat the front nine. See if you can do better. Try to do your best. Try to keep your calm even though you're not happy, you know. Can I recover from this? All that stuff we know as we get a little older or get a little better temperament. I see old people doing that too, so it's got nothing to really do too much with age, except sometimes when you're younger and impatient. You're impatient to get better, and you know, I didn't even want to play if I couldn't break par, you know, and so it's just stupid. But we all, I'm saying this, we all have stuff, so it never hurts to ingrain this routine inside of you, even though you know that you know it. You know that you know it. It's especially important when you're starting a big tournament. So let's go through this a little bit here. So we've got our grip. Our V's are going to be pointed over to our right shoulder, and then we're going to go over here. So, well, because it's going to be on the first tee, we're assuming that depending on the yardage, I'm at least going to hit a hybrid. Keep in the fairway, stay in the fairway, get it down there where maybe I only have an 8-iron to the green or 7-iron, whatever it is. So I might decide to hit my driver. There's quite a bit of room. If I'm comfortable with that dance on the driver range, I'm striping it. But getting off that first tee and getting rid of those jitters is a very good thing. I mean, that sets you for the whole round. So I'm at least, this is a 23-degree hybrid. It takes the place of a 4-iron. Like say I was going to hit a stinger. The hybrid is heavier on the bottom. It gets the ball up in the air, goes a little farther sometimes. And because of the perimeter weighting on the inside of this club, it can help you stay a little straighter. Now, a lot of the clubs that you hit can be perimeter weighted clubs. We all know a lot of the companies, Callaway's, Pigs, a lot of them have perimeter weighted clubs. Very few amateurs use bladed clubs where you can really turn that ball, but you got to be so precise. So I think a lot of people are using perimeter weighted clubs, whatever brand they are. All the companies, doesn't matter whether it's Cobra, whoever it is. So you could use your 4-iron, but I find that the hybrid is much more forgiving. So I'm at least going to hit this hybrid. So what I'm going to do is going back where my ball is, looking down the fairway. Pardon my hay fever. And you know what I'm going to say next, but we need to think about it, we need to do it, is pick a spot in front of your ball, a foot or two out in front of your ball, that's aiming right towards your target. Now, if you like to try to turn the ball left to right or right to left every time, then you might not be aiming it right at your target. If you're going to draw it, you might be aiming a little right of the target slightly. If you're trying to fade it so the ball will land softer, that would be mostly for shots on the green, but not necessarily, because whatever shot you're comfortable with, that will help you put it in the fairway more often as well. But just for this video, I'm going to say, because that target might be a little left of where you're actually trying to go. So play that in your mind too. You know, you judge what your target line is. So, but for me, I'm going to pick out a spot in front of my ball. It's along my target line where I want that ball to finish. So I'm going to come back here, and you probably can't see it, but there's a piece of straw right here. So I'm going to come back here, come from behind the ball, set my club up right to that straw, and then take my stance. So I'm going to put that ball inch and a half to the left of my lead heel. I mean, to the right of my lead heel. Yeah. coming this way. We don't want it to the left. Unless you're hitting a driver. Okay. So then also, which you know, you're a good golfer. You've qualified to get into these championships. You don't want to be swaying. So I think about it for a second. Keep the weight on the inside of this right leg. Let my hip come back, open up. But never let the weight get to the outside of your trail foot. So I'm going to have about 60, 65%. Because I'm using a hybrid, I'm coming down with a slightly descending blow. Maybe a little more than slightly, but we want to hit that ball with the face of this club. We're not coming up at it. So I'm going to have my hands a little bit ahead. My feet are going to be flared out because I want this to open up as a senior and try to get to 90 degrees. I may not quite get to 90 degrees, but that's the goal. And because this is flared out, like if I have my feet like this, I come back, that puts pressure on your hip. And we don't want that hip having any problems as you get older, right? Of course we don't. So I'm going to flare my both feet out because flaring the lead foot helps me get off my back foot and over for a good follow through. So weight on the inside of this foot. I'm going to cover that ball and come right down at it. The other thing I think about just before I'm going to hit the ball, which you do this pretty fast, but still it's your routine. For me, I like to have one thought, and that thought is keep my arms connected to my body. Don't let my arms just get up there where I might want to come over the top because I'm a little jacked up and I'm starting a tournament. And you don't want to come over that ball. So I'm going to try to keep connected without being stiff, by the way. Stay where I am. Let my core turn my body around my head. The one thing I didn't do is I didn't say to myself, finish your backswing, take longer to finish it. That was pretty quick. And that's not good for anybody because then when you come back quick, you're more likely to rush the downswing. You don't have that pause at the top. Let's try that again. There we go. You can hear the sound of that ball coming off that club face. And that's going to give you plenty of yardage to hit that fairway and not be in trouble rather than that driver. Again, depends on your confidence level, depends on whether or not you're striping it that day right down the middle and you go, I can do this. But when you're on that first tee and they call your name out, sometimes that's a little different than the driving range. Let's try this again. I'm going to get back here, find something in front of this ball, take my stance, keep my weight going forward, make sure my grip is right, keep my hands connected, keep my arms connected. Just like that. And it's the same thing for every club. You know, if you have 160 yards, you grab your 7-iron, you do the exact same thing. Find your target line, put that club right in there, line up your feet, weight going forward, because again, with 7-iron, you're hitting with a descending blow. Keep my arms connected to my body. Let the core turn me. And let it fly. And whatever level you're at, got a B trying to get me. Whatever level you're at, this is always going to help you. You know, don't think it's too simplistic. Make sure you do the best you can. And if I can do it, you can do it. And go out and win that tournament for me. And to say, hey, that old guy helped me pretty good. And I wasn't thinking about this that much. I knew to do it, but I just wasn't thinking about it. I've been that way with a lot of things. I've been that way for a long time as far as keeping my arms close to my body. You know, I knew about it, heard about it, learned about it, taught it. You know, we have to feel things, we have to do things and ingrain them in ourselves. And there's nothing wrong with that. We're all human beings. And as long as you do learn it, that's a very important thing. And this game has been great for me to win one state amateur championship as a senior over 50 years old. And well, I won about 50 club championships. So I mean, I'm an older guy, so I played in a lot of them. And nothing you can go look up because they're all you know, club championships. And the state championship I won was with a few thousand people. They're called SIRS, Sons in Retirement. If you're over 50, you can join. And it's a lot of fun to get together. We play a lot of tournaments, and then we have state tournaments and different championships. So it's all a lot of fun. You can have fun with a lot of these groups even as you get older. And if you keep your routine, you'll have a comfort level that a lot of the people won't. Some people, when they're going to play in a state championship, they can't hardly sleep the night before. You know, I mean, really, it's a game. You want to do the very best you can. You need some good rest, and then develop a routine that you can be comfortable with. And when you're comfortable, you're probably going to play your best game. And just keep that routine going. Use it on every shot. Every shot, get behind that ball and find an aiming point, what you want to do, or find a point that you want to fade from to like the middle of the green. You know, there's all kinds of things out there with good course management. You may not want to go for a sucker pin, a pin that's right behind the sand trap. You might want to play, say the sand trap's in the middle of where the green is. You might want to play it to the right with a little fade spin on it, so when it hits, it's going to fade anyway. Get over that bunker, or get to the left of the bunker, come towards that pin. You know that fade is, when it lands, the spin is going to take a little more right. Same way if there's problems on the right side, you do that. You know, you might want to play halfway between where the pin is and the fringe, play it there, try to draw it around. When it hits the ground, it's going to move left towards that pin. If you happen to push a little bit, still on the green. You happen to pull a little bit, you don't go in that trap, still on the green. So try to use good course management. It's very tempting to try to go for these pins, and they end up in a sand trap. And well, if you're a good enough player, if you're in this championship, you're going to be able to get out of a sand trap. But just saying, if you don't get out of the trap, then you even matter. If you don't get up and down, you think, oh, geez, you know, I could have put it over there to the right. I could have put it over to the left. I could have two-putted and got my par, whatever. So just play the course management. Be thinking the whole time you're playing rather than just trying to go by rote and trying to hit every shot right on the pin. Maybe if you're a little far back with a few holes to play, that's a little different. You've got to try to catch up. But play the best golf you can. Think of me. Hit those good shots. Take your routine to the next level. And we'll see you again next time. Until I do see you, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps grow my channel. If you like me or you like my personality, I'll take whatever it is. And also, please hit that like button. And if you hit that bell notice, you'll get a notice of every time I release a new video. Got several on there if you want to go watch about chipping and pitching the ball. I'm doing this all from home. I'm 70 years old. I'm not supposed to leave the house. There are golf courses you can go play in around me. They're like 25 miles away, so I'm teaching from my backyard. So hopefully you like this. Hope you like me. Till I see you again. Have fun and never give up. And thanks for coming to Bobby Fitzgerald Golf.